the first truck does not have to touch the ground. Somehow maybe it can be folded or it can be removed out of the way, but not on the ground.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why are you worried about it touching the ground?
Because more parts leaving the vehicle, more parts touching the ground, which is not clean, there is the possibility of other problems that will, you know, it's like when you come to a job and you have all your tools spread out versus your tools are organized in a nice way. So the possibility for losing something or breaking something is just greater. So.
I suppose one thing that we'll have to consider is we were kind of looking at those carts as similar to how a stretcher would be used. And a stretcher obviously does enter and exit the vehicle on a routine basis.
The stretcher that has the mechanism that kind of folds and then goes in, you know, yeah.
And so we'll have to consider further that. But
Also, having the cart leave the ambulance would be another opportunity to have a better cleaning and sanitizing the vehicle necessary.
And would probably be the best.
That's true, but that's not the point where you do that, right? I mean, when they need to move your baby. Okay, so anyway, I just want to throw that in that from my perspective, keeping the equipment in the vehicle, of course with the exception of the incubators that need to be removed, I think it would be an advantage in the long run. Okay? With regard to how they fix medical equipment in Honduras, which is very different than here, maybe it will require a little bit benchmarking, maybe you've done it already. How do they fix current equipment?
They don't. One of our professors, Professor Islani, she leads a group that goes down periodically and actually fixes up equipment for them. They are basically, once it breaks, they don't have the resources or the knowledge to fix it.
Okay.
In fact, they're also making a program where RIT students go down and teach their university
Okay.
students.
Okay.
So it might be possible to get a program going where they teach the university students how to repair specific equipment, but
Okay.
we haven't looked into it too much.
I see. Okay. All right. So that's that.
the technical ability in Honduras is always going to be one of the major issues because they are requesting of us to design something that meets as close to U.S. standards as possible, but they don't necessarily have the technology available or the knowledge available to be able to successfully implement or repair it if necessary. So that's one of the things that we have to balance.
So that would impact your equipment as well in the same way.
I think, okay, so we went and visited the university while we were there,
Yeah.
and they actually showed us their engineering department and what they're capable of, so I really actually do think it could happen. And they're very enthusiastic about working with RIT on this project, so I think it can happen. I think we will be able to use that resource and have people be able to develop and fix these machines.
Well, I don't know to what extent you guys can be affected by it, maybe not at all, because if that's what they have. But long-term implications of this project could cause something there to change, and so that
Cost analysis.
Yeah. Okay, and the last thing is that the list of deliverables that you have here, what I wanted to add to that, do you guys still believe that it is realistic for this year? And we're counting on you to say what's realistic, and also with regard to testing.
I think we could get something functional done. In regards to testing, to the point where I'd be comfortable using our ventilator on an infant. Maybe not possible, the ventilator itself. I think we could get a functional ambulance using a normal ventilator going.
Yeah.
It would definitely, there'd be wrinkles in it. We obviously wouldn't be able to test it on the road. We wouldn't be able, hopefully we could use the packaging lab here for some of that testing, but obviously we wouldn't be able to see a final product ourselves. So
Do you think it's
limitations.
possible for this team to lift the back of the vehicle off the ground and to say, okay, here's all the equipment sitting exactly as we want, interior design in place, the chairs, the this and that, by the end of this, by May? It seems like a tough mission to, considering all the equipment that need to work and all that.
I think that it will be very tight. It's not like we'll have a lot of time for refinement, but I think we would be able to get a preliminary design in.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm along the same lines.
Yeah.
And get the interiors, a mock-up here in the studio presented and say here's everything. I'm hoping you can get at least some of the equipment and then mock up the other equipment that you cannot get so it can be shown as
Yes.
part of the presentation. that would be fantastic,
Mhm.
so,
And I know we can definitely do like, we'll be able to do like a 3D model and
yeah.
some,
You can use different resources. You can 3D print all the equipments.
yeah, definitely do that.
To scale them.
Yeah, but as we said, time is our biggest constraint here.
Yes.
So we're not guaranteeing any sort of a full-scale model or anything like that. We're gonna do our best to get a full design, and to get functional prototypes for our modified, CPAP and anything else that we need that's functional, perhaps the cart or securement, perhaps the power systems. But, full-scale prototype is not looking extremely likely.
I perfectly understand, I think you're right. I think that will not be probably possible by May, but, yeah, okay, so you guys get your, as much as the functional equipment to work and demonstrate it, and they'll get their design, mock-up to demonstrate side by side, and I think that that's the best we can
We
expect.
might be able to do VR too, have that available for everyone.
Okay.
That would actually be really easy. We can do that. And
I'm sorry, Corey, I mean, I don't really,
You feel better.
you guys, any questions?
I have one question. Have you guys thought about how you'll handle like disposing of waste at all during the drive?
As in like excrement or like,
Yeah, just stuff like that. I wasn't sure. Just if you're gonna need like IV fluids and stuff, if you wanted to like work into your design, like maybe one of those like biohazard boxes that they have in like doctors' offices.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's definitely something we need to add. I mean, they'd probably only be throwing away the needles. Everything else is reused.
You're right.
Diapers would need to be thrown away. But yeah, no, that's definitely something that'd be part of the refinement process.
Yeah, we could certainly look into including a basic biohazard box, something like that. It would be a space requirement, but it should be doable, especially if it's not a large one for only two.
yeah, a lot of the time they have like little plastic, like, you know those boxes that candy comes in, or those like plastic jars? Yeah. They just had them with like a hole punch and like hanging off things, and then they would throw their needles in there. It's like,
Not super safe, but
yeah, I mean, that's what they were doing.
I mean, it just has to be a designated space. Doesn't even have to be.
Yeah,
So this is the incubator configuration you guys were using, and then they're designing an incubator which is also can
Mhm.
or need to be part of that equation, right?
Yeah, theirs would. I mean, looking down the road, just kind of guessing where we'd be able to put it would have to be with the driver, honestly, because we're so limited in space with the Toyota Land Cruiser that the only other spot is the passenger seat in the front.
Oh, I see. So the driver will actually.
And that could actually work if you guys are designing to help with a truck, just like a pickup truck or something. But yeah, that'd be something we consider down the road.
yeah, we'd have to see their design first to figure that one out.
Yeah,
Well, but you also need to supply them with the information that
Yes.
of how this sits
How
once you
power
finalize that, so
Yep.
that they can factor that in.
If we gotta maintain communication.
Okay. Cool.
anybody else?
Pretty much what
Alright,
you've
well-
designed is just to scale, correct?
Yes.
So what you have available
Yes.
with the Land Cruiser.
That's to scale.
All the drawings are,
Sure.
well,
Except the perspective.
the CAD drawings are scale.
And it's what we use to eliminate the two parallel, two series incubator where it only had 2 inches of space pressed up against each other, and that we couldn't have secured the incubators that way.
Sure.
Are you ready to make a decision on the final layout based on everything you know?
We're like, I would say we're about 80% of the way there. We just need to figure out, like, the reason why we designed the cart was so that we could make that layout work.
Okay.
So, like you said, we need to then figure out the final step of the incubator to their gurney,
Okay.
so that kind of thing. But
It needs refinement.
it needs refinement, but I think we're close. I think we have something that would work, but it just needs to be refined.
Okay. I would say very quickly make mock-ups of whatever decisions you guys make, and it doesn't have to be. This is very laborious. Like when you fold paper like that, just cut yellow foam, boxes, in order to shift them around, and it's a lot easier and faster. So there are some ways to speed up making the initial models. Okay.
So where would the cabinets end up?
The cabinets
When
right
you
now we're
got the
looking,
carts,
would
part of the
be-
cart, or?
We couldn't put them under the carts because actually, when we first were thinking of putting the cabinets underneath, we were thinking of the incubators if the baby goes to the bottom of the incubator. In reality, the baby's like halfway up the incubator height, so we'd have to actually lower it to make it feasible for the doctor sitting there. So the cabinetry would go between either right behind the doctor, on the side that there's no incubator, or above one of the incubators, or even above where we're going to put the monitoring equipment.
Probably right.
Okay. For any other questions, if anyone has any, there's some contact information for the three of us. If the question is for someone specific, we can certainly give it to whoever